Mr. Oseruvwoja, it's nice to have you join us on the news.
Thank you.
So let's start by even having an understanding. Is there a legal distinction between constitutional review and a constitutional amendment on the Nigerian jurisprudence?
Well, it's just a mere terminology. You can say it's constitutional review, and you can also say it alteration. So it's just a mere, how will I put it now, it's a terminology. It all depends on how you use the terminology. So they all mean the same. That means it's a process of maybe amending, either taking from or adding to the Constitution. Either you reduce or you expand the provision of the Constitution. So it's constitutional, and it is also part of the legislative function of the National Assembly and the State House of Assembly to also do that.
All right, so we are talking about the 1999 Constitution. Considering everything that contains in it, its interpretation and implementation, would you say that it is long overdue having to review it?
Well, this is a very dicey question, but let me make an attempt, because if you look from the 1999 when the Constitution came into existence, there have been about 5 alterations, or should I use the word 5 amendments, and we'll give it to the 6th Assembly that made 2 efforts in amending the Constitution that brought about some drastic change in the Constitution, particularly when it comes to the transitional period in our democracy. Then you talked about the 7th Assembly. They made other alteration. They talked about the 8th Assembly, which made the most celebrated alteration, which is the not too young to run. And you look at the 9th Assembly that made several alterations. So, but you look at it from another perspective, is that if you look at the issues under discourse, some of us who are outside the context, who are outside Nigeria, were a bit worried. We are a bit worried if you look at what is on the front burner. First, I will clarify the process adopted by the National Assembly. Okay. There will never be in a West civilized society whereby public hearing of this nature is held for Constitution to be amended. There's never been like that, and the Constitution did not provide such procedures. They all have senatorial district offices, they all have House of Assembly, National Assembly constituency offices, whereby people can relate issues through those offices to their members. So making this big ceremony is just a mere political jamboree. Then 2, you look at another area of concern, the major issue, which is the section, which is the chapter 2 of the Constitution. Everything that works in in a developed country is captured in that section 2, in that chapter 2 of the Constitution, which is just 10 sections. They are not making it, nobody is even discussing it. Nobody is even making it, okay, let's make it justiciable. Let it be a ground for impeachment. Let it be a ground for any elective officers to be removed. We are not going contrary to that spirit. We are talking about reserved seat for the women, whereby the Constitution guaranteed that everybody should be treated equally. Do you understand? So we don't know where the problem is coming from, whether is it from the leaders or from the masses. Is a big concern, and we need to look at it. If you give me opportunity, I'll take you through the process of amendment of the Constitution. This public hearing, how many hours did they have such a meeting? How many people were heard? Were the people from the villages, did they give them opportunity? But there need to be an orientation from maybe the National Orientation Agency, the senators. Members can visit the senatorial offices in their constituency, and I think they made it so nice that I think in each local government, and what chairmen of political parties act as liaison officers to their senators, so that they present their issues. They hire a consultant to harmonize these issues and present it at the House. Not what we're having here. But
then, so don't you think that this gives equal and direct representation of the people? Because it's meant to be a stakeholders meeting where we have people from the public space come together to have a direct discussion or dialogue with the handlers of Nigeria's constitution, rather than have some representatives who may or may not skew, manipulate, or tinker with whatever it is that has been presented to them before they now present it to the legislatures for amendments.
Now, let me, I think the word stakeholders, who are the stakeholders? What made them stakeholders? What are the means of selecting those people who were there? These are people who, by one reason or the other, find out what was the process in making those representations. Those people who spoke, who made themselves present at that thing. You discover that they are still within the elite class. You discover that they are still within the political friendship and class of the politicians. And if I may surprise you, you discover that they are all one card-carrying member of a particular political party. Because if you are looking at stakeholders, you look at across all political parties, across all worlds, and across even communities. These are issues that make up the stakeholder. But let me give you a good example of how things work. If we have a senator, like from my state, a senator who has his own offices which they are paid for, that is part of the allowances they collect. They have their own offices and secretaries who are there to collect information, to look at the issues of the issue affecting the people. They bring out they engage a consultant to harmonize that. Let me tell you one thing about this amendment of a thing. It's about one person. It's not what you see them coming. One person just has to initiate. That is the first process. The initiation can be from the executive branch, which is the president or the governor, can initiate such a bill, or a member of House of Reps, or a senator, a distinguished senator, to initiate. Oh, this process is necessary. Let's look at not too young to run whatever the bill that was given to Nigerians, Nigerian youth and collected from the window. You look at it. It's about a process of initiation. When the initiation is come, then you talk about the stakeholders. Now, that is why I will not tell you that there's what we call the public hearing. The public hearing brought about a that is the closest place to stakeholders, because when issues of amendments are made, there are particular areas that it touches. So those areas are the stakeholders that looks at it. It's an ongoing process. But for what I saw, and from the discourse we'll be following for the amendment, I'll tell you, it's a political jamboree. It's a big one.
So basically, you're saying there's something sinister about this gathering of political top shots having to discuss with people on how to amend the Constitution. You're saying it's not something we should be looking forward to that can bring about transformation in the country. Just in about 30 seconds.
No. It's not something we should be looking at. It's not something, particularly when you hear the issues under discourse, is worrisome. When you hear the issues under discourse, is worrisome. And you know that it's just a journey in futility. Creation of new states. What does that have to do with the common man? What does that have to do with the fundamental objective of government? You talked about reserving seat for female.
For women.
Then the men will also do their own. The youth will do their own. Then the children will do their own too. We all have reservations and every other thing. Equality is what we are talking about. Justification of governance is what we are talking about. And these are already in the Constitution.
Okay.
But what is the spirit? What are the attitudes towards politicians?
Okay, well, I tell you that this is one thing that this century is going to sit on to unravel all the facts around it, to bring it for, most especially for the people to have an understanding of. But then we appreciate the fact that you're able to share your thoughts with us, Tohwo Oseruvwoja, with us on the news. Appreciate that.